Hello YouTube, how are you guys doing out there? Now this is just a brief update from the recent video that I posted about creating an isolated section for your layout, which includes sidings and terminal station roads. Anyway, this is the aftermath of the video, and this is kind of like part 2 if you want. So I'm going to show you what I've done in terms of improvements and some additional bits and pieces. So if we go over to here, hang on, let's just move this brake van out of the way so we can see. Right, the idea that we talked about in the last video is still there, but however I've tidied up the wiring because the wiring, believe it or not, was a little bit too thick and chunky for my liking. Goodness knows why I put that kind of wiring in when I should have put this kind of wiring in. I've put some much thinner wiring which works better electrically, and also I've disguised it by painting it and also adding a little bit of vegetation around it as well. So that's much better, and as you can see from the last video there's no thick red or black wire, which to me was a bit too chunky. I didn't like it, so I've just got rid of that and just put some thinner wire in. I went a little bit overboard and I decided to extend the buffer stops as well. If you look in the last video to this, you'll see that originally the buffer stops went up to about this area and finished. Well, not anymore, because I've extended them all the way back to the fence line by the level crossing. As you can see, that's all brand new down there. I've just finished ballasting that earlier today and putting some more grass textured scatter material in there. All we've done, where the 4 foot of the track that you see is now extended, originally the tree used to be in the middle there and some vegetation lived there. I just shunted that over slightly to the right, and obviously vegetation now lives via the fence around the TPO apparatus. But if we look at it from this angle, before I come around here, you can see that it looks much better. From the roadside there, you've now got the stops going up to the fence and a much longer siding all the way along there, as you can see. So now we've got a little bit of additional storage space, and also allowing you for a wagon or two extra on a train to come in. One of the things that I've done with the buffer stops, if you look at these buffer stops here, they're all Hornby, and obviously you've got the sloping bits that go down to the ground behind the actual stops. Well, what I've done over here is just cut those off so the stops are flush against the fence line there. You've still got the buffer stop idea there, as you can see, which I think works quite well, and that looks quite good. Anyway, coming over here, I also went a little bit overboard further as you're doing these things, and got a bit carried away and added an additional insulated joint, or isolated joint should I say, which is there. Again with some thinner wire. I probably will paint those different colour when I get around to it. I haven't vacuumed up afterwards, as you can see it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but just wanted to give you an update on what I'm doing and what I've done. So there's the second isolated section, which gives me now the road into the loading dock area. So the idea is train can come in from here, and now can go all the way to the end of the goods loading dock, technically can uncouple, and then I can isolate it by putting in the second switch, which you'll see I've done this earlier tonight. The one below the other one is now in, which is this one here, and they're both round the same way. So when you flick them to the right, which they're in the same position now as both, they both provide power to that section. If I flick them the other way to the left, then you get the isolated section happen. So the idea is the train would come down, unload his goods wagons there, and by switching in the isolated section from there now, you can basically have a loco or a pilot engine come up behind it and bring out the rest of the wagons if they're not needed, and marshal them to either over there or into the long side and over there and further. So a little bit more added shunting operations can be done now because of that extra bit of work. And to be honest with you, it's quite easy. It's very easy to do. And I used this point as an example. As you can see, where you've got the two rail joiners, I actually cut one of the rail joiners through on the on the left hand part of the crossing there, and just done it. So it's quite simple. Anyway, enough waffle, enough chit chat. Hope you had a good weekend so far, having a good weekend. Anyway, that's my update for the layout so far, and there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that, and again, hope it gets you doing something on your own projects out there. Have a good evening and take care. Happy modelling.